All right, I was generously shared a document that you have on Canvas. And here is the document. This is from Scheid Vineyards looking at a specific 2006 irrigation profile for Pinot Noir, a red wine grape. And there's a lot of information here. And so I want to go through this without being too overwhelming. But you see here on the vertical axis on the right, weekly average maximum temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. On the left, soil moisture in inches and vine stress in bars. So there's a lot going on. So we look at various information here. Here, this pink dot with this line, that is what they determined was the bud break date. March 19th, bud break. Here we have a blue dot, and the blue dot is lag phase, the date they determined lag phase, 23rd of July. And then the green dot was the harvest date. So again, all of this information is here. So you can see bud break, lag phase, harvest, boom. Then we look at other things, the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. Well, that is indicated by the background, this kind of golden amber color. And so you can see the temperature clearly getting hotter in July than it is in March, April, as you would expect, okay? And then acre feet of sprinkler irrigation per acre. Well, there's no royal blue in here at all. They didn't sprinkle irrigate this block. So there's nothing. But in navy blue, acre feet of drip irrigation, you can see the drip irrigation events. And then rain are these teal, or maybe you see it as light blue on your computer screen. But all of these vertical bars of navy blue and light blue or teal or aqua, whatever you want to call it, indicate the amount of water that went into the field on those date ranges on that week. And then we have soil moisture with the little diamonds. So here's the soil moisture. Clearly we have soil moisture high coming out of the spring rains. And as bud break, or after bud break occurs and canopy's growing and going, we're replacing the water, but we're not replacing all of it. We want to get to a little bit of a stress point here during lag phase, but not too stressed. You don't want it way down here. Just a little bit of a reduced soil moisture, and then you're trying to make sure that you're replenishing it. So you're replenishing the water. You can see the drip irrigation events, but they're not replacing all of the water. They're keeping a little, leading up to a little bit of stress at lag phase, and then maintaining a modest, mild stress through here. Now, exactly what you call stress, this is not enough to talk about all of the components of stress. It's only soil moisture. It's not looking at the leaf petiole moisture or using a pressure bomb to see what the actual stress is. That's a much more important measure to get actual stress. This is just part of the equation. In green, here is the actual vine stress. So you can see that the vine stress is low and goes up depending on the water stress. This is the refill point, this dotted line, water refill meaning. So you don't want to get below that too long, too much. Again, how much do you want to go below that? That depends on how much you want to stress that vine. The field capacity is the blue line, and the permanent wilting point is this line. So when I look at the soil moisture, remember the soil moisture is these little diamonds with the burgundy line, and it never gets down to the permanent wilting point. That would be really stressful, really bad for the vines to be down all the way to this point here. And is there anything I missed? I don't think so. That's a lot of information in a single graph, but I think Scheid has done an incredibly good job of managing their vineyards in an extremely professional way and keeping good data. They are hardcore scientists there, and they are true believers in data and science. And I think this is the best grape irrigation profile I've ever seen. And this is what they do. This is how they keep their information and how they can easily, at a visible glance, make some comparison with what they find at the end. When they look at grape quality at the end, when they look at phenolics at the end, when they're trying to determine what happened this year, good or bad, you know, hey, it went really well this year. Look at our irrigation. That's a big piece of the puzzle. How may have this influenced it? Now, certainly there's more to weather than just rain events and temperature events. There's solar radiation and wind and other factors. So this isn't the whole picture, but from an irrigation standpoint, this is a lot of information. You also would have tables. They also have tables showing fertilization, showing leaf stress using the pressure bomb or the pressure chamber data. They also have information showing the petiole sampling for actual nutrients in the leaf petioles, along with soil nutrient levels, to compare not only what are the nutrient levels appearing to be in the soil, but what's actually getting into the leaf tissues. So you've got to combine all of these pieces of information: irrigation, fertilization, leaf stress, and compare that with the data that's coming along through the season, the sugar profile, the acid profile, the phenolics profile, and then you've got a finished grape. It's pretty complicated. And because there are so many variables and so many, not only variables that go into growing the grapes, but variables on what the winemaker can do after the grapes are harvested and it's time to turn it into wine, that from a practical standpoint, the possibilities are endless. There are many trillions of possibilities on how you might end up with a wine. And each one is unique, which presents some wonderful opportunities for people interested in pushing the envelope and trying new things with wines, and some very interesting challenges for the winemaker who's trying to keep a consistent product. So that Sutter Home White Zinfandel always tastes like Sutter Home White Zinfandel year after year after year, and the consumer can count on a consistent flavor, a consistent mouthfeel, a consistent experience. So they have their go-to wine and they just buy it. Like most people take it for granted with, you know, either you're a Coke or a Pepsi person kind of a thing. But we've talked about that issue before. So download this graph, take a look at it. I would not ask you to look at a tremendous amount of information like this, but you should be able to read this. You should be able to piece it together with all of the key information, and you should be able to figure this graph out. If you can't, if you want to talk about it, get a hold of me.